You also think of other things of like upselling and cross-selling. Ne?
As a teacher.
Hey, the MBA is clean right now. It's saying all the things.
By upselling,
Yeah.
so
Wait, he's got an MBA.
Yeah.
okay. For example,
Hey,
But
my
he's
guy.
thinking about going to business school his entire
I
time.
said business school, but business school doesn't mean MBA. No.
It's 9 to live. It's 9 to live. It's 9 to live. It's 9 to live.
Welcome to the 90 Life podcast, where we explore the journey of ordinary people, but they've done extraordinary things in their life. We get to explore their journey, where they come from, where they're at now, and how the view is from the top, and how they intend to stay there. Maybe get into their future a bit, if possible. And my name is Lesego, yes. And I've got my co-host with the most here.
Oh,
Yes, in there. How are you feeling about today's guest?
It's exciting. I think once you think that you've got him figured out, there's always like a surprise. Like from the little chat that we've had with you, it's I do this, I do this, I do that. So our guest today, Mr. Nndondeni Mudau, considers himself a full-time DJ and a part-time electrical engineer.
How does that work?
What does that mean?
What does that mean?
No, the thing is, it's actually very confusing because a lot of people actually confuses me or like, am I really a DJ, like full-time DJ, or am I an engineer? But I think when I look at it, it's almost as if like this thing, you can't really separate between the two because being a DJ means you're an engineer on the other side, just like
you're engineering the sound.
I guess.
Engineering the vibes.
Yes. Yeah, so that's why I always say or like I'm a full-time DJ, part-time engineer.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, it's actually the same because the whole time we're actually engineering throughout. So it doesn't, you can't really separate between the two.
He's learned how to justify this.
He's been waiting for someone to ask him this question. Okay, then welcome to the 92 Live podcast, my brother.
thank you.
We want to sort of understand who you are first before you became this multi-talented, all the things engineer. Where does Nndondeni come from? Where did you grow up? How was your upbringing? Just take us in a couple of minutes. Just take us through all of that.
Okay.
Yes.
Let me see. Alright, so like I said, Nndondeni Mudau.
Yes.
I'm from the villages. I don't know if ever heard this part of Letreghat in
Yes.
so there's a part called Letreghat in Limpopo. So
Wait, you're not from Venda?
there's no such place called Venda, bro. Like
Oh.
I don't understand why people say there's a place called Venda.
Okay, let me tell you. When people say Venda, they think of Toyando. Let me tell you.
Yes.
When they say Venda, or when we say they're thinking Toyando.
Yeah.
So you're not from Toyando.
No, I'm not from Tranda. I think Tranda's like what 30 kilometers away from my place.
Yes.
Yes.
The villages is not like this.
I'm
denouncing Toyando.
The reason why I said Letreghat, so I'm more close to Letreghat than thing, right?
Okay.
And the thing is, I wouldn't say or like, okay, I'm Venda, right? Because of Mudau, and also those stuff. But like, I think where I grew up, right? So it's a bit of a mixture.
Yeah.
So there's Tonga people, there's Pedi people, there's Venda people, right?
Yeah.
So that side, so it's like alien, Letreghat. So on that vicinity, right?
Yeah.
So it's a mixture of like almost everyone.
Oh,
So
that's why you are multilingual.
yeah. So the thing is, and every time people always ask, if I'm in Joburg, I'll say I'm from Venda, right? Just so that you guys can have an idea. But
Oh, so when we say it, there's no such place.
It doesn't exist.
so if I'm in Limpopo, I can't say I'm from Venda. If I'm in Limpopo, I have to specify. Okay, sharp. I'm a sharp.
Or Hamasham.
I'm from Hamasham.
All right, representing.
Shout out to Hamasham.
But then the thing is, a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people will always say, "Sharp, I'm from Ven," right?
Yeah.
But then in most cases, like you just from that part. I've never seen a place called Ven. Even if you go to Google and type, you've never seen a place called it. Doesn't exist, right? It's just an association.
Wait, does it not come from the former Bantu study?
Yeah, during that time, yeah.
Okay.
But then the
So it does not exist anymore. It used to be Venda, a country on its own, I guess.
sort of called. Yeah, it used to be called Ven. From my understanding, like it used to be called Ven.
Yeah.
But then the confusing part called like, where does the Tonga people stay there? If people are saying like this is Ven,
So there are some other people in what we think is
it's
as
Ven.
Ven.
Yeah, because it's always confusing because people will say, okay, sure, maybe people they're from that side, they're Limpopo,
Yeah.
and then you find or like Zulu people, obviously from KZN,
Yeah.
and other. Where do Tonga people fit in? No, that's
No, but and they're sharing it within the Vele people
Okay.
and Abo Mnak.
exactly.
Yeah.
So back to where like you asked what like where do I come from and my upbringing. So I'm from like a small village, it's called Mashamba, ne? So it's pretty much situated towards that side of Elim.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's not really that far from Letrechat. That's why I said Letrechat first, because a lot of people can relate with Letrechat.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of people are quite familiar with Letrechat than Elim. So Elim is like a small town that we have now.
Okay.
And then Mashamba. So that's literally where I'm from.
And then when did you move to GP?
When is it? Oh, just after matric.
Yeah, so for
Yeah,
studies.
yeah, for studies. So
Where did
basically,
where did you go?
so I went to UJ. So I did my matric when 2010. During the World Cup. Yeah, remember that time. Yeah.
Philip.
Yeah, during the time when Philip was here, I was also doing my matric. Yeah, so I did my matric during that time, and then moved into Joburg around about 2011. So since then, yeah, I just literally, just like almost every Venda person, I think it's almost the same thing. Or like you move out from the village just round about after matric and then do first year after that.
Yeah.
And literally just this is your new home basically.
And then you never go back. And I cool.
Every now and then. Especially December.
Okay.
So did the people in your village anticipate you becoming a full-time DJ and a part-time electrical engineer? Or were they hoping that you go all in on the electrical engineer?
No, it's a funny thing because, okay, let's say for example, and just to take you backwards. So I've always been a DJ or what?
Okay.
So, like even in school, I remember like from grade 10, I was like the main sound guy. Well, the guy that set up mic and set up like sound and do all sorts of stuff. So I've always been doing music. Or what? I remember, I think the first experience I had in music, I was doing they used to be called software called Automix.
Atomic. Why do people say Atomic? It's atomic.
Yeah, it's actually Atomic.
It's atomic. It's not It's not auto. Atomics.
Atomics.
There we go.
Before they bought it by
Actually,
what's that company that bought it now?
Virtual DJ.
Virtual DJ. Before Virtual
Oh,
DJ.
okay.
So Virtual DJ bought from Atomics.
And the resident 2000.
So I started using. I
The
remember.
actually makes that skull logo.
Yeah, with the yellow and
It
bluish.
was yellow and black.
No,
Like the danger, the danger toxic sign thing.
No, it was yellow and blue.
Or the yellow and blue.
Yeah.
Oh,
I remember during that time, I think, I don't know, sponsor from Windows XP, during when XP started.
what's in the space for real?
Yeah.
So during that time, so I had a personal computer. You know, back in the days, when you're a DJ, you just have to have a computer.
Yeah.
And then you install the software,
Yeah.
you can start playing around with it.
Ah.
And everywhere, when I put it on, okay, we bar.
Yeah. That's what it is.
Just travel around with it. So from there, I started doing music. But then, obviously, for obvious reasons, you can't really like do music coming from Venda as a full-time thing. You don't even know the people, you don't know the platform, how to get inside the music industry. And the thing is, I think from a get-go, obviously, like from home, they ask you, what do you want to do with life?
Yeah.
Like,
wanna be a DJ. Like, come on, tell us something serious.
Okay, now that they joked out of the way,
Exactly.
that's not the actual thing yet.
Yeah, so I think one thing that I always wanted, I'm like, okay, what's the closest thing that I don't have to write a lot of text? I always hated writing text. I don't want to lie. So I was good at math. I said, okay, sharp, I'm good at maths.
Yeah.
But then I don't want anything that has to do with like writing shit and all that. So the only thing that I could relate, I'm like, okay, cool. That means engineering, that's the closest thing, right? And then when I chose engineering, then I realized I'm like, okay, cool. What's the only thing that I can do that doesn't require me to write a lot of essays? And I asked around like people that are engineering. They're like, they're like electric. I'm like, okay, sure, this is perfect. I think this is gonna be perfect for me. Because college, I think like the subject that I never had difficulties with is maths, physics, and all this number stuff. That was actually better for me. But like the other stuff, bro,
Comprehension test.
yeah, comprehension test. This is not for me, brother. Yeah, that's not for me.
No, lovely. So it's almost like you knew your path early on. Like even in high school, you knew engineering is where I'm going.
I think because I'm lazy.
Oh,
Well, being lazy, as
apparently there's value in being lazy, eh? So they say the lazy people will always find the shortcut.
Yeah.
If you want to know where the shortcut is, ask the guy that's lazy. Maybe that there.
I think you're right. I
Yeah.
think in a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah.
I think even co-spending, taking a bit forward, co-spending, I always find creative ways to make things automated. Because I'm always lazy. I just
You don't
want
want to work hard.
Yeah, I don't want to work
You want
hard.
to get it out of the way.
Yeah.
By the way, I don't know if your employer is watching you, so it's just we're just talking, man. You're not doing good at your voice. Yes, go on, my brother.
This is satire.
This is that time, right? It's not it's not so.
That's really no. The thing is, I gotta like. Obviously, I think even a lot of people do try to acknowledge the fact and like the fact that if, say for example, you can find creative ways to do stuff in a much more efficient way, in a better way. I think that's actually takes your thing, your time off being. And you can become more creative
Yes.
in your work rather than having to do like manual work. 'Cause-
Focusing on the mundane
Exactly.
stuff,
Because
yeah.
let's say, for example, if every day, let's say a random example, you like literally punching stuff or Excel and writing the same thing over and over,
Yeah.
right? It's consuming a lot of your time.
Yes.
And then you don't have time to do the creative side of things. You're literally just doing the same
Which is
routine.
important. I mean, you know, the routine and mundane stuff, you can get a monkey to do that, right?
True.
That's why we're doing
Automate.
by automation.
Spaced out, yeah.
Exactly. So the creative stuff, you're right, that's where the value is. And that's what we need to do. True. Mm.
No, and like I said, I've always been a lazy person.
On that note, what is a funny story that your family tells about you? Like from the time you were still a beginning, and what's it called? Mashamba.
Mashamba, yeah.
For myself.
Yeah.
Fuck. Sure. Jeez, I don't even know.
I think that might be the first swear word on this show.
Sorry.
Oh, no, John.
No, John didn't say. Did he say? Okay, sorry.
Shit. I think I swear about bro.
Yeah. What was
Go on,
that
bro.
story where they were like, I know, Ukhupile, like you're a problem.
Nah.
Yeah.
Jeez.
'Cause I can see you're a problem.
I don't know,
You have a
bro.
problematic beard.
Is it?
Yeah, you know, like men with dignity, they have a beard that's also here. And then F boys, it's like here. It's sharp. Like Satril. You have that Satril beard.
I don't know, bro. Yo. Most funny story.
Which one did, yeah, you see,
Nah, bro. I can't even think of any, bro.
you have the man with dignity beard. Yeah, but it called a lot.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. But
Yeah.
I'm sure there's probably a lot of stories around me.
Uh,
Which. Yeah, nah, shit. I can't even recall, bro. I think.
no, I hear you.
That's fine. Think back then to varsity. What was most memorable about being OJ?
OJ in the trigger, bro. It's the high. What a vibe. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
He did say you called it, bro.
I saw.
I think of Blessed, man. I don't wanna lie. I think I had like one of the most funniest experience with Varsity. I wouldn't lie, cause
as much as yes, I was dedicated doing all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
I always had to make sure, because the thing is, so when I came to Vassal, it was a very weird story, right? So I came to Joburg, right? During that period, like me and my mom, we're not getting along and all that because me and
I wonder why.
Right?
so
Not
when
even having anything to do with the DJ, the vibe, in the rhythm.
so I came here, right? So I went to register for UJ, right? After registering, and then got it. No, man. I need to make sure, like, I don't wanna like have connection with because I just wanna do my own shit. So I told my mom, like, yo, relax. I don't need you to pay my university fee or whatever. I just want to just send in my monthly allowance. That's it. Or what? So every time, like, I always used to prove too much, né? But then the thing is, equally so, I always used to have the thing where, like, I can't manage to fail. Because if I fail, I have to depend on people from home or what. So I don't want that connection with these people from home because I just came here, I just wanted to do my own shit or what. So then I got a bursary. So I got a bursary when I was in, like, around Feb or something like that.
Yeah.
So the minimum requirement on the bursary was that if you fail any subject, they take away the allowance. Oh, so that's why I was like, party, but always make sure kind of like, fuck, I'm fighting for my life. I can't fail even a single subject. So that's why I moved that thing in record time, because I was under pressure in a way, because I just wanted to get it over and done with. But
So that pressure is important. So, sorry to jump in there.
Yeah.
But that pressure is important because I did not bring for pressure. You would have been one of those that takes 10 years.
Yeah, sure.
fuck, bro, I used to do.
All the crosses.
And you know whether the LC and whether...
They're there.
But I feel like it was fun because, like, a lot of my friends, unfortunately, one of my roommates didn't really make it because we were partying like week in, week out, bro. Like, I don't want to lie. I think varsity life, you have to go there and just explore and see and just have fun. Because I was used to smoke a lot of weed during that time,
Okay.
drink a lot. But equally so, but I think one thing that I actually learned from varsity was that, like, I know it's maybe it can come out in a, not really in a bad way, but like slightly different. Because, say for example, if I go out on Friday,
Yeah.
if I go out on Friday, Saturday in the morning, I'm gonna feel guilt, right? That I didn't start. Then I'm gonna spend the whole Saturday studying. I want, and so that I can catch up.
And then at night.
Exactly.
Yep.
And then I do. So what I've noticed, is that, like, a lot of people who are not drinking or doing all sorts of stuff, they were failing because a Friday they're not doing anything. They're sitting there watching series or whatever, right? So a Saturday they don't feel guilt.
They don't feel the guilt.
Exactly. So they don't put in that much
they
work.
continue to
And
work.
then exactly. So that's one thing that I've learned from varsity, like that pressure, or even to go out and do bad stuff. When you come back, you feel that, you feel guilt. So fuck. And then it pushes you, in a way. No, for real. And
It's
then
gonna be a memorable We're getting some
What
other
are you saying to the kids, bro? What are you saying to the kids?
do bad stuff.
Bad stuff on
And then do good stuff.
no, what I'm saying, just do what works for you.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Do
That's a
what
good
works for
point.
you. Because let's say, for example, at a later part of my career, of my varsity years, other like now I was doing part time.
Yeah.
In a later part. So what I started doing was that
Wait, you were studying part-time?
no, at a later part, fourth year I was doing part time.
Because the full time.
Oh, the full-time teacher. He's always been a full-time teacher.
Part time.
Yes,
And then do you not feel survivor's guilt? Like when you are passing there and you've left your friends there, is there nothing? Because we've always had those people in our lives who, when we're grooving, they're grooving with us, but when it's passing, they're passing alone. Bro, do you not have that?
No, you do, because obviously you wanna succeed with your mates and all that. But then the thing is, because certain things, it's really outside your control. Because you're like, yo, bro, let's go and start. You can't really control whether the guy wants. If he says he wants to go and say a chick, or what are you gonna say? Or you can't really influence him to start him say. But going back to a point where I was talking about, like, what at a later part of my career, of my varsity years, when I was partying. So what I used to do was that, like, I'll study the whole day. So I think, I know it's a bit weird again, but what really helped me was that, like, the clubs that opens at 11 going upwards, ne? Like I would Uswe during that period.
Yeah,
Ne?
that's-
Those clubs used to help us in a way. I'll tell you why. Because it gives you an opportunity.
We are looking some other things here.
No, for real.
What's the ever called?
No, it gives you an opportunity
Yeah,
to start.
yeah.
Because remember, let's say for example, you come back, it's a Friday, you study, you said, okay, sharp, I want to go out, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people will go out, go my 6, 7, they're going to park. When are you like, okay, you stay grounded, you're like, okay,
Yeah.
let me study for 4 hours from 6 till 11. I'll go out from 11 upwards. During that period, that's the time where a lot of people are now sleeping. That's when you go to buy or what. So that gives you an opportunity to, okay, sharp, I know Sway or Kwong or Taboo, it's only gonna start getting pick hour. So the whole day I might as well just start so that later on I can.
That's the guilt pushing it.
Exactly. So now you've got that guilt, so I wanna do it before. So that even the next day, then you can wake up and say, fuck, I was partying the whole night, let me study again.
Yeah.
I want during the day.
Yeah.
And then later on during the night. I still pretty much feel like most of the clubs, especially around varsity,
Yeah.
they should start opening late, man. So that they give people the chance to study and then because I mean, how can you study when there's a club next door? And
Yeah.
Go for
you want
it.
to
Yeah.
say, go for it. But I think I was like, during that period, there was no beard with. And at that time, I would learn.
Yeah.
I know.
When it's
Professor.
interesting time. But tell us, hey, just to get into the school element a bit more. Electrical engineer. When someone hears electrical engineer, they think about ESCOM, electricity.
Yeah.
You know, maybe take us through the different types of electrical engineer and which one you are, and how you made the decision to choose the one that you chose.
Very funny was like how I actually chose whatever. So initially, obviously, like I think from a get-go, when you say electrical engineering, you think
Yeah.
ESCOM, you think maybe Transnet, maybe
Yeah.
for some other people.
Yeah.
But then now I chose electrical, right? Like I said, my reasons was that I don't want a lot of things with ECA. I just want a lot of maths related, physics related stuff because I was good at those things. Or what?
Yeah.
So then I said, okay, cool. Then first year when I registered electrical engineering. So I was gonna be an ESCOM type of a guy.
Okay.
Okay.
So after first year,
And then load shedding started.
Maybe he has the solution. Maybe one day you will go to Sway, come back the next morning and have a solution. But you left.
Man, you could have been carrying now.
so what happened got it like, so first year, ne, we in the same class. Literally all of us, ne, around about more 400 people.
Yeah.
First year, ne. So they said, okay, so they used to divide up in streams. So they say, okay, sharp, there's electronics, there's computer systems, there's instrumentation, there's heavy current, which is your traditional ESCOM stuff, right?
And it's not heavy current
So-
if there's nothing going through it.
So my reasons for changing to electronics were very weird because I realized, okay, so I asked people who were doing my second year, which one is like nice and all that. So they tell me, no, electronics and computer system is the most difficult one. Ne? So I'm like, okay. So when I was checking even on the class list, I realized, no, electrical engineer, there's too many of us here. Like, how are you gonna get a job with this? There's just way too many of us. Or what? So exactly. A lot of other people say, no, electronics is a bit difficult.
Yeah.
And I was seeing it from so I remember I was getting distinction for electrical. ne?
Okay.
But electronics was suffering. I remember I got my 60 something, 50 something. And at that time I was an A student. And I like, yes, this thing is difficult.
Yeah.
Let me go for it. I think I'm gonna survive there.
Okay.
Because then it gives you that courage to like study a lot more.
Yeah.
But when you're doing something and it's easy, bro. Like you're just like, okay, it's easy. So, which is actually fun because the later part when I did electrical again, I was struggling. I'm like, hey, what happened? Because before I was smashing electrical, I was killing. I remember even our mates when they bring the script, I was one of those students. And they were 95 sharp. Because they used to count like people that got 90 plus or all this that type of student. But electronics, I was suffering. And I realized, I'm like, yo, I think I want to try this thing and see how it works. And also the fact that it wasn't really that packed in that class.
Yeah.
Because like, almost everyone, I think from high school, they just think, what, electrical room.
Yeah.
It's ESCO. only to find out, okay, sure, there's computer system where you don't even touch any equipment or anything like that. It's more programming. Go on. And then there's the automation side where like they do like the PLC. So basically, let's say for example, you would call cover code, right? When they automate stuff like, let's say when the truck comes in, then there has to be a pickup, and then the truck needs to, like all those automated stuff. So basically, I think one of the other conversations we were having earlier was like anything which is not automated, literally anything, almost anyone can do it, right? So those routine work, they become automated. So that falls still within electrical engineering, but more on the instrumentation part and the automation part. And I think the last part is electronics. So, which is something which a lot of people sort of struggle to understand, or like, how does electronics fit in within the electrical engineering system, right? But people don't get to sort of like appreciate the fact that like when that the electronic side of engineering or from the electrical side, it's actually there day-to-day basis, right? But people don't really think of it that much. Like a random example, like your remote control on a TV with the press, it's electrical engineering. Your microphone, right? It's electrical engineering, which is on the electronic side. Your telecommunication, right? So when you want to make a cell phone call, when we talk about like 4G, 3G, 5G, all different generation networks, right? That's electronics. So that's more on the electronic side of things. So, but then I think in SA, I think the market is not really that high, because you get to, if you come to like one of these other big telecoms and something like that, you probably feel like you're in a different camp, because all the expertise we get from outside mostly, because a lot of South Africans are not really like dwelling too much into that space.
I see.
Yeah.
So tell me, electrical engineering, how does it intersect with the other fields of engineering, such as your computer engineering or your mechanical engineering?
Yeah, so let's say I'll give you a random example. Maybe you're looking in a telecom space, right? And I think that's something that I feel like a lot of people don't really let people know a lot more about this type of stuff, right? So say for example, we're talking about like, let's say telecommunication, right? We have to make a cell phone call, right? So when we have to build like a tower, for example, right? So you need all this different expertise from different engineering, of which a lot of people don't understand that it's needed. Because say for example, if someone studies civil engineering, right? They don't get to appreciate, or okay, if you start in civil engineering, you can still go and work within one of the big telecoms, like your Vodacoms, your MTNs, your Telecom, and so on and so forth. Because civil engineering is there needed so that they can be able to resurrect a particular structure, right? And then you've got mechanical engineering, which is there to sort of support that part of the engineering side. So in order for you to put in the equipment, you need the mechanical side of it, right? And then you have the electrical side of it, or like when you put in that particular equipment, even let's say even a solar. When you put in solar, there's both the physical side of it, which is more mechanical engineering, and also the civil side. It needs to be there so that wind loading, for example, you can just put in maybe a heavy solar panel on a particular structure which is not adequately correct for that particular thing. So that's where everything intersects. Or like you need all these different type of engineering, because it's not really one-sided. You need almost every facet of engineering in order for you to do a particular thing. So obviously all these things, they definitely do have some sort of cross-sectional way of working.
So when people are in IT, the minute they register for the course, everyone around is coming to them, number computer, you're installing apps on your aunt's phone, you're doing this and that. Yeah, just because you say it. They don't even care about what IT is. You know, as an electrical engineer, when did that start for you, and what have you done? Have you had to tube people's houses? Have you had to, you know, like how intense does it get for you guys?
Bro, I remember at some stage, so the catch was in like, my mom asked me if I can fix it.
Let mom be Tony.
Bro, like even when people are wearing stuff, I'm like, I don't even know what the
Which
fuck
one is the FY? Which one is the ground?
And so and I'm like, I don't even know. Even my grandmother, I remember the other time she called me, it's like, yo, Nndondeni, electricity is not switching off. I'm like, can you call someone to come and check this stuff? Because I don't even know what's happening here. So, long story short, I think even if you did electrical engineering, I think what people don't understand or appreciate, we're like, we do a lot more theory, right? And that's why in SA there's a lot of strategy achievements, right? Of which people don't really appreciate it that much. Because you find a lot of people from outside, they're the ones that do the actual real work.
You're right.
Or what? So when, let's say for electrifying a house, you find it's mostly like foreign people that does it in AC. Because everyone's just doing like the theoretical part of it. We never really touch any equipment or any sort of wires or what in our life. I mean, not tried those got shocked too many times.
No, I'm with you. I think now we want to go into sort of what you are doing now, right? We'll touch both on the work-wise and also the DJing-wise. Maybe you can talk a bit about, what that's like and how does a typical week look for you or look like for you as a DJ or maybe let's start with the simplest and related to that.
Yeah.
And then we'll jump into it.
On a typical day, I think,
Yeah.
let's see. So, because like I said, because I'm more on the software side of things, right? So I do a lot of software related stuff. You can almost confuse me with people that did IT. Because most of my work that I do, it's more strategy, more planning, and also a bit more analytics. So obviously the roles that I do, it does advance with time and also with age. Or like, okay, sharp, now you're doing more strategic stuff. You're no longer like physically going on like on the ground and actually do the work. So
Yeah, and actually,
yeah.
actually maybe take us through what early career looks like for someone that studied electrical engineering. When you start fresh out of varsity, what sort of opportunities are available and then how do you progress up the ladder?
Okay, so I'll speak more on the electronic side, right? Because I've got more experience on that. So in most cases, you find out, okay, sharp, let's say you did electronics and then you want to explore more on the telecom side of it, right?
Okay.
So that means so the different streams. There's people that are doing radio planning, like so typically you're planning your 4G network, 5G network, 3G network, and so on and so forth. And then you've got people that are working on the transmission side, so more on the back side of the engineering, right? And then there's different elements. So other people also venture to project management at a later stage of their career. But in most cases, let's say for example, myself, when I started off, I was doing more on the planning side, right? So going to do what we call drive testing. So basically, let's say for example, they put in a tower here, right? So we have to come and drive and make sure like the correct signal it's working, right?
Yeah.
Everything is working according. So you do all this other minor stuff that a lot of people don't want to do. So you go do drive testing, you go and analyze and see if there's any recommendation that you can come up with. Go and check other places where maybe there's no cell phone network, and then you just drive around and come back with information, give it to your senior engineers. So in most cases, I think you do most of the groundwork that a lot of people don't want to do. So you literally just collecting information for the senior engineers to work on the data. And then at a later part of your career, obviously you're gonna start now moving from front end to back end, where you're now doing a lot more of the engineering side, like the actual planning of the stuff. So you're the one that now plans as to where should people go and drive, where should they go and analyze, and then after that you start doing more strategic stuff. So long-term planning, right? So you start planning to say, okay, cool, maybe we need 6G. Where should we put it and for what purposes? So, like I said, so for myself, hence I had to also like more on the business side, right, on the MBA. So when I did the MBA, it was more to fill in the gaps within the engineering side and also the strategic side, because the further you go up the ladder, it's more business strategic, right? So now you also need to start considering to say, okay, cool, when we're doing such initiatives, how does it then benefit the organization? Equally, so how does it then benefit the client. So now you start looking at things in that type of aspect. So that's why, like, the more you go up, then you start thinking, like I said, more strategic, and you've got more reason. You no longer full hands on engineering, but you know it's sort of like a gap between the product side and the business side of things. Yeah.
So interesting. But tell me, you are a vibey guy. What are some personality traits that you think would make it easy for someone to do what you do?
I think, firstly, like,
Wait, I think the question should be: is everyone an electrical engineer?
I don't see.
Because you could be the exception to the rule, right?
No, I think he is.
not really. You know what I've noticed, right? Just that I haven't done this test, but
Yeah.
what I can tell you for a fact is that, like, a lot of people that did electrical
Yeah.
and IT
Yeah.
mostly end up in DJ.
Okay.
It's part-time. That's
Okay.
one thing I think, because
So the question is, the answer is yes.
So what are the similarities, where they would want to do both?
Yes.
Like, is it the fine tuning of the frequencies? Like, like what is crossing? Where are they intersecting?
Yes.
the thing is,
Genuinely.
okay, so remember, so people that did electrical, IT, and stuff, right? They're more exposed to softwares, right? So it becomes easier for them to relate to softwares. So they're not really like phased when they see a software. They already know how to operate softwares. So it becomes a simple transition for them to move from that side to the other side. And going back to specifically why I think a lot of electrical engineers can move between that to the other side, right? It's because, like you said, frequencies, right? Those are stuff that we learn on electrical engineering, right?
Yeah.
When you talk about gains, when you talk about dBs, when you talk about like attenuation, all those things, we learn it from the engineering side. Then it's easy to apply. So when you see something, even if it's like fancy or what, you can already locate, okay, sharp. This is a gain, you know what it means. You see minus 3 dB.
Yeah.
Okay, minus 3 means, okay, it's half of something or what. So most of these things you can already relate when you see them. So it doesn't really like frighten you when you see all sort of stuff. Unlike someone maybe that never did physics or maths. So when they see like maybe all these heads, they're like,
Yeah.
what the fuck is that? Or what? So for engineers it becomes easy to relate. Or okay, sharp. Already say for example I want something which makes a loud noise, right? We already know, okay, sharp. They already total so the loud noise, it ranges between X amount of frequencies. So you already know ideally.
So you see, guys, to those who want to be DJs and your parents are doubting it as it's not technical or it's not a smart career,
A real career.
please, the man is explaining it.
Yeah, but I think in SA, I think the only problem that I see, and I feel like it's a bit of a disadvantage for some kids, right? Because let's say, for example, in most cases, right? So you need people that can be able to afford you an opportunity, right? You also need a platform. You also need time, right, to grow yourself as a brand and so on and so forth. So if you don't have a financial backing, unfortunately, sometimes you might not really make it, right? Because people, unfortunately, they do take advantage of you, and people maybe they not take you serious because you're not dressed in a certain way. You're not really appeased. But what's the correct way? You're not really like, you can't relate with them basically. Or what? Because in most cases, say for example, you want to get a particular booking, right?
Yeah.
And then they expect you to look in a certain way. Or what? You know, like, it's so funny. I remember one of the other books. I once went to another place. I won't mention the name there. So it was during the day. I was just wearing some shorts and flops. But I went there. I said, no, I want to come and DJ in here and all that, right? So they told me, bro, minimum, we need to wear this label. I'm telling you, bro.
Now you have to tell us the name.
No, yeah.
Now we need to know
No, for
who are
real.
these people.
You know the problem is, right? And unfortunately, they are right to an extent, right? Because say, for example, you go to a place, you're wearing things that doesn't relate to a certain thing, right? In most cases,
I
right?
like how you're putting that. Like, he just doesn't want to say
Yeah.
cheap brands.
Is that
or-
why? Is that maybe why some DJs we see on Instagram, not naming anyone, are wearing Louis Vuittons that don't exist in the shops, in the Gucci's that only
The promoters are putting pressure on our DJs.
Is this the only one? Like even Gucci's like we make that. Is that why? Is that maybe might be more prominent in your industry?
I'll tell you an example, right? And I'm telling you, you probably do it subconscious. Ne? Everyone does it. Okay?
Yeah.
Say for example, if I come to you wearing a certain brand,
Yeah.
ne? And I say, let's say I charge 20,000 per hour. Ne?
How?
Firstly, you're gonna look at me.
Yeah.
Has this man ever seen 20,000 in his bank account? Ne?
Yeah, but that's true.
Right? Maybe I'm wearing, I don't know, some random label.
Yeah.
You don't even
Don't name them, so that's why DJs don't know what to wear.
No, I'm not trying to look down on certain brands, but I'm just saying, I know there's elite brands, there's fashionable brands and so on. So if I come to you and say, I charge 20,000 per hour,
Yeah.
okay? And you're looking at me you're like, has this man ever seen 20,000 in his bank account?
Yeah.
You're most likely gonna be like,
Yes,
you're
it's
clowny.
music,
Or when you're gonna say, this man is clowny.
Yeah.
Or what? But if I come there, I'm wearing Gucci, LV, everywhere, ne? And I say I charge 5,000, you're gonna feel guilty doing yourself.
Alright, how does
This man came with
Like, how is it?
exactly.
are putting
This man came with a V-Class, he's using an iPhone,
Yeah.
he's wearing LV, he says charges 5,000. Yeah, let me take it. Or what? That means there's people that have already paid so much,
Yeah.
that's why I can afford this type of lifestyle. So it's a psychological thing. The same thing, let's say for example, if you want to book someone, let's say, remember example, for a wedding, right? And then they come to you and they're like, yeah, I take videograph, ne? And this guy was using a Texas, come in there. Are you gonna trust the man? You've never seen his work. He just came with the text. He said he wants to take the thing, a video for your wedding.
Yeah.
Ne? When you want to take, maybe you want to do the wedding like a perfect videographer or whatever. This man came with the text. That's here. Ne? And you ask him, where do you stay? No, Bloma, what? You don't even know that place. Ne? And then this man said he's talented. Are you gonna pay the man? You're gonna ask for a lot of references, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let me see your work.
Let me see ways.
Hey, let me see. Oh, what?
I
Yeah.
think branding and an appearance makes it easier to trust that this person has had access
Hey.
to certain software. Has had, like if I see my graphic designer using an using a webbook,
Exactly.
you know, it's like, oh, he you know, he's not gonna say it froze,
Yeah.
you know.
Because if I'm a graphic designer, it has which computer is it? No, I've got,
You know, you sometimes hit it.
if someone comes through to you, ne? I'm a graphic designer. Immediately after that, this guy has an iPad, MacBook, and all that. And for a graphic, I charge 5,000.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, okay, my man, and maybe 4,000, yeah. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Right? You're gonna start negotiating, but within the range.
Yeah.
Isn't it? You're not gonna say, I'll give me $100.
Yeah.
Although a graphic can be $100.
Yeah.
Depends who's asking. Or what?
So are you working so that you can afford to be taken seriously as a DJ?
100%.
Yeah, okay.
Basically, because
Yeah.
the thing is, I don't like, you have to find yourself and so that people take yourself serious,
Yeah.
take you serious. Ne? Like if you pull up, like I said, wearing certain brands and all that, ne? And you go to speak to people and say, okay, Shab, I want to come and work at your place. Immediately, sometimes they'll even feel guilty. They're like, no, we'll only afford maybe 20,000 per month or something like. Already, like they're being apologetic. Ne? But if you go there without wearing a specific thing, ne? And you tell them, I want to be a resident there, they can even say, I'll give you a 6-pack. Or what?
Because you're not wearing
Exactly. You'll never have the guys to tell someone, I'll give you a 6-pack to Gigi. You can't. Do you think you can?
No.
You won't have those guys.
So going back to image, other engineers, like your civil engineers, have got the boots and the reflector and the G-Star or the diesel brand to announce to people that they're engineers.
Yeah.
What do electrical engineers have?
Jeez. Electronics.
Like, what's wrong? Like, how do the girls know?
Oh,
You're
yeah,
an engineer.
But I think electronics is a bit difficult. I
It's
think-
not sexy.
Nah, it's not. I think what I've noticed, they've got that startup pack here, electronics. I don't know if you've noticed. Like they say, that chino, operate chino, and check nyana. Round shoes and that's like a startup guy and he's software engineer. That's what I've seen. As a typical but in most cases they probably mostly relaxed because in most cases if say for example working in software, not career, like a lot of people are just relaxed. They don't really have like a particular outfit. So it's really hard to judge like an electronic engineer from far. Very hard.
You guys don't have that double caps.
Nah, next. We don't have cabs, we have nothing. We're just there we're just engineers because of the name.
Oh, you're chill.
So basically what we've learned today, kids, is for you to be successful as an electrical engineer, you have to be vibey. And for you to be successful as a DJ, you need to wear dizzy.
Yes.
But have a look at this. That's why have you noticed that especially deep house DJs?
Hey, no.
A lot of deep house DJs, just that a lot of people don't say.
Deep house DJs have full-time jobs.
Yeah, almost all the deep house DJs, they've got full-time jobs.
Because there's no money in.
Not really because of money, but like, because, okay, so remember we're already playing in the niche market. Ne?
Yeah, that's true.
It's not really that marketable that much because of people want to dance and all that. So you need to sustain yourself so that you don't become frustrated.
Yeah.
Because if you want to tell yourself, because I mean, think about it. How many successful deep house DJs do you know? Chances are, how many do you know?
Very few.
I mean,
should we name names?
You can.
When it's good, you want to know. When it's bad, you don't want to name.
Give me an example of a deep house DJ.
Dark.
Mbo. What's that Mbo?
Yeah.
What are you laughing at?
Okay, another one.
I guess Black Coffee could sort of Black Coffee and then his crew. So Black Coffee. Who's the guy with the Betty Lens the thick? Betty Tan the thick. They lens up to know the soul.
Okay, but everyone that you mentioned,
You know the song.
But almost everyone that you mentioned there,
Yeah.
I don't know what's the classification of what we call really deep house, but that's more Afrotech. Let's be honest.
Okay. I guess when you are in the market, you know there's Afrotech.
Afrotech.
Soulful.
Afrotech
From the
that one,
outside.
yeah.
May I just say, if people are not doing voice shows listening to it, it's deep house.
That's it.
No, but
People have to watch and be like,
Afrotech is that one, yeah. There's like thing. Like
okay, deep house is who? Boma, Vinita Vince.
Yeah.
Just those.
Yeah, that's what.
Those are the
Oh, and Shazamebo.
Yeah.
Why do you guys take pride in no one being able to find your songs?
My guy.
Is that not a marketing sabotage on your part? If
Yeah.
you're playing a nice song, why do you guys take pride in the fact that we can't find your songs?
Yeah.
Bro, exclusivity.
I want to play it going home.
I was actually talking to my mates not long ago. We're talking about like, let's get new. So I'm like, at this point in time, the ways people want exclusivity, they probably only want a song being produced for you.
For you, yeah.
Like just you. That's how, like, people just want to have like exclusivity in terms of like the music and all that. And I think maybe, I don't know, maybe that might be one of the limitations why deep house has never really hit the ground running.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's always people that within the niche market, they want to protect it. You ask someone, hey, this song, like, nah, it's going to be released next month. Or what? The time when it gets released, people are already over it. So that's why, like, let's say, for example, I mean, we're talking with a couple of mates of ours as well. When, like, in most cases, if you check, this so-called real deep house,
Yeah.
at this point in time, it's only in AC. Outside AC, you'll never find this deep house.
This jammer.
Bro, I'm telling you, if you go outside, it's Afrotech, one way. That's why, like, successful DJ like Awashim, Zabo, Black Hawk, they play Afrotech.
I guess it makes sense when I think about it in terms because people from Europe don't want to hear what people in Europe are producing. They want to hear what people everywhere else is producing, right? So Afrotech, because it's exclusive to us, or I think that's what they want to hear because they want to be able to say, I've got the hardest thing from Africa. You know? That's what I'm thinking. Maybe that's the reason why I think they want Afrotech.
But I wanna, soulful music it's nice for passive listening.
Okay.
Right.
For vibes.
For ambience and all those. That's why if you check, what I've started noticing what like a lot of soulful house, especially on YouTube, if you check, they've got a lot of streams because people listen to them, especially when they're in the other background and all that. Obviously, you can't really listen to Afro tech. Sometimes it just makes noise. Imagine 2 o'clock during the day, you listen to that. It's just nice. But it's nice for vibes.
Yes.
So that's why personally, I produce soulful house.
Oh, so you produce as well. You didn't get into the part. You see now he's slipping it in as if he spoke about it in the beginning.
As if Siazi, we train as full-time DJ, electrical engineer.
And then where does the producing fit in there? Wait.
Obviously, okay, so the production side, I don't like I like a certain type of sound, right?
Okay.
So what I started doing was I realized, okay, shit, I like this type of sound, but maybe there isn't enough production for it. So why not just learn and do that one or what? But that obviously I don't really do it for money or what. I just do it for passion. Because if I check, in most cases, even when I'm checking the streaming numbers, right? Mostly during the day, or you can even check with like what time of the day do people actually, because there's this other thing where you can actually track. In most cases, you can see during the day, that's where a lot of people listen to soulful music and so on and so forth. So you just create that. Because if you check, sometimes there's you producing what you feel like it's really like from the bottom of your heart and DJing something a bit different. Not really, or it's not from the bottom of your heart. But sometimes you have to give people what they want.
And that's where, I get lost a bit with deep house DJs. Because deep house DJs, when I think about what a DJ does, and you correct me if I'm wrong, a DJ plays the music that people want to hear. But a deep house DJ plays the music that no one knows. It's like, if you don't know it, that's when he's like, yeah, I know about it.
But I guess people take pride. I mean, obviously, almost all the genres, obviously, people do take pride in playing something that people don't know about.
Exclusivity.
Yeah, but sometimes
But they deep house DJs take it too far.
They take it too far.
They take it too far.
They take it too far. People are just chilling there.
DJ will play 19 songs that you know,
Yeah.
and then just one song.
Yeah.
You guys play 19 songs that no one knows. We can't sing along, and you're there alone. And
No, but the funny thing is this. Even the people that are at the event, the deep house events, it's mostly dudes. But, the dudes at the deep house events, they feel it, even though I don't know it. And like deep house actually is a cheap genre. I'll tell you why. If you listen to a deep house song from 25 years ago, and you listen to a deep house song from 2 days ago, it's exactly the same. They sound the same.
But I think one thing,
it doesn't develop. It's the exact same thing.
Now one thing that I actually started realizing, I think another problem that I see with deep house is that like deep house people tend to play to please their fellow deep house people, DJs. And that's one thing that makes a lot of people not really to progress. Because it's like they want to play for their fellow DJs to play.
And the people are not paying.
Exactly.
They're not buying the tickets, they're not buying the booze.
Exactly.
They're just sitting there with you.
They want to please like their fellow DJs.
you're shy.
How this so?
How this so? The homies.
Yeah, they're literally there waiting like, okay, to get those things. But I think also what separates people from like being a good DJ and also like the normal DJs go, like sometimes you have to like go with the flow, understand like where people, you can play at least 1 or 2 exclusive music, but if you have exclusive music, what I've seen, just that I won't mention the names, people that are really successful in the deep house space,
Wait, now you don't want to mention the names. I can't keep up, my man.
Okay, check.
Are we mentioning names? Mention names. Like the successful ones.
The successful ones, right? In most cases, they've got a good blend and a good balance between the exclusive and non-exclusive. And in most cases, if they're playing exclusive, you're familiar maybe with the vocals, but it's a different beat. So they do a lot of remixes.
I see.
They play a lot of remixes and they play around with like, let's say for example, like now, if you check, there's a lot of from Amapiano remix of deep house. Right? So they know, okay, sharp, I'll get the crowd going with vocal side of it, but then the beat it's deeper. Because and and the thing is, unfortunately, you can't really ignore the rest of Amapiano. That thing, it's definitely like here to stay. Because a lot of people thought, okay, maybe at first it's just gonna be a bubblegum music or
Gonna be like
or what, but now it's evolved like it's too much. Because then, like, it's now musical.
Yeah.
What happened with Amapiano? Because the Amapiano that I'm hearing now is very different to the Amapiano that I heard over 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
And in the sense that Amapiano used to be this one song. It's 12 minutes long.
Yeah.
It actually has sounds as Amapiano.
Yes.
It's being listened to by those men who wear shiny denim pants, tucked in.
Shiny belts.
Shiny belts.
Dazzle t-shirts.
Yes. And then, like, those ATM scammers, like, yeah, but you're ATM scammers, you know? You know, like, Kwata, you know? And to what it is now, and it's still being called Amapiano, aren't you, like, you're still the name from music Wamakinza, and you took it and commercialized it, and you've now taken their name as well. Like, what happened there? When was that shift?
My check, man. I mean, I don't really know the whole history and all that, but what I've noticed, like, if you check the difference between the deep house and Amapiano, right? At this point in time, you can't really differentiate in most cases. It's only like very few elements that it's literally
I don't
just.
even know what it is anymore. For me now, it actually just depends on the artist. I mean, if he says he's an Amapiano artist, I mean, it's an Amapiano song.
But check Ali Kabza. Kabza before. Remember Kabza was also House of Freak. He was doing deep house.
Yes.
And then it started doing Amapiano. So a lot of, in fact, a lot of deep house people actually moved from thing. And they're the ones that I think, from what I've seen, they're the ones that really introduced the musical side of the Amapiano. Because before it was just, you know, that noise. It was just noise, that one that just makes noise. So now they started bringing chords, started bringing pads, they started bringing like all these different elements. They also started bringing like nice vocals. Because before it used to be like just, now they started bringing people that really sing. So on our own side, all these people that really can sing. Because I remember in deep house, we do have like an element of deep house just without vocals. But the deep house, if you check like from way there, it revolves around good sound and a nice vocalist in most cases. And I don't know if you recall the time when there was a period where Mapiano was doing a lot of remixes to deep house. Who Touched the Sky, or all this. Because that's why if you check, even, let's say for example, hopefully I'm not gonna get flack for it. Like let's say for example, Siatanak of Kesp.
Okay, yeah.
And yeah, that's a deep house song. Right? Remember that song? Hold on, instead of messing with that. Yeah, such things. So a lot of these things, they've got like that.
No, but actually Casper is a very humble dude. I don't think he's in that. He's very
so that's
sensible.
Deep house.
Hard to anger.
So Amapiano always have that reference study like other genres in most cases, and then they just balance it out. That's what I've seen. But yeah, it's a very successful commercial genre that we've actually imported from AC. Yeah,
that's one of our proudest exports, I think. Right now, yeah. No. That time you guys were hitting on my piano. I'm not playing music. That's what. Now you're changing it. You're very keen. You're adding yourself in the equation.
People mistake, bro. Yeah.
No, it was.
Even myself,
in the beginning.
Even you were editing it. Okay.
I'm like, what
The thing is not just music.
They're messing with the culture. They're messing with the culture.
Yeah. No, but it's fine. So tell us more. You were still telling us about the production side. How did you get into that? You said you did it because you were looking for a certain sound that you felt like it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And then you started. Was it like a trial and error thing, or did you have someone teach you how to do the production?
Lucky enough, at least I've got a lot of friends that does production.
Okay.
But I learned a lot of, maybe 70% of my stuff from YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, like literally the first song that I made, I literally learned maybe 80% of the stuff from YouTube. Or one. And
It's
then
a track from YouTube.
How does that work?
Okay, good pocket.
yeah, so I learned like
We'll come back.
so I learned a lot of stuff from YouTube, and also like because a lot of my friends are also producers. So what? Well, I can also like when we do studio sessions, I used to check. Okay, sharp. Maybe can you get this and this? And also remember, like I think it also starts with the mind, because the learning on how to do it's just some of the other things. At least if you have an idea of what you want,
Yeah.
or what. So that's why like there's always this confusion about. That's why people always say, "Ah, no, this guy can't produce. This guy can't do this." Because in most cases, right, it's not like, especially like these so-called big-name artists, né? They've got people that are doing the background work,
Yeah.
né? And then they've got the vision. Or okay, sharp. I want a song like this, right? And then because it's always fun every time when people discredit certain so-called co-producers and people that are producing, but they can't really like do the stuff physically, you know? Because you say, okay, sharp, maybe they say, nah, when you my ghost produce, right? And you're producing for me. But when you produce for yourself, you don't
I can't find the same success.
exactly,
Yeah.
right? In most cases, because let's say I've got an idea, I'm like, yo, I want a song that sounds like X, Y, and Z and all that. And then I also guide you, I'm like, no, I don't think this one, sensory Kenya, I think the break should be here. I think this should be here. Or what? So it's one of those things that it's always like downplayed, or like those people that can really direct. It's more of a director than anything else. So what? Because they can direct to say, okay, I want this type of sound, I want it to break here, I want it to start here, I want this type of shaker, I want this type of a kick or what. So they're more like they're producers, but they don't necessarily have to click and to use the instruments to be able to produce. Because in most cases you say, okay, sharp, this guy is got a ghost producer, for example. But then the ghost producer, what can the ghost producer do his own thing and be successful as him? No, because the guy has an idea. So that's more on the strategic side of the business. Rather than, because I think someone will actually really put it nice, sort of like, there's a difference between a beat maker and a producer. Right? In most cases, people tend to confuse it. But a beat maker can be a producer. Right? But a producer doesn't necessarily mean they can be a beat maker. Or what? So a producer, I think on an umbrella terms, means someone that has an idea that can have like an overall idea. Or what? But then the beat maker will actually make the beat. Because I can get a drama and say, okay, Charlotte, do it like this.
Yeah.
And then get a guy that does guitar, okay, do it like this. A guy that specializes the keyboard, do it like this. And then overall, I combine that thing and then I come out with the song. Or what?
First.
Yeah.
So I think that they want to give producers the same pressure that they give rappers. Like everyone else can have a songwriter,
Yeah.
except for Trikoba. You know, like Trikoba today needs to be there. So, hey, you know when we get into the DJ, you get very passionate. That we even forget that you're sometimes an electrical engineer.
Yeah.
So,
When the weather changes,
yeah, like you know,
engineering.
you know, this needs a pay sleep. So tell me, how do you stay current with advancements in technology in the field of electrical engineering?
Yeah, so I think the most interesting thing, especially for myself, because I'm really passionate about technology. So the technology side for me, it's just nature. And I always write like blogs, especially on LinkedIn. I always write blogs about like the current technology.
We write
Blogs.
on LinkedIn.
Yeah, I write blogs.
Do you mind giving us just your, like, how do people find you on LinkedIn?
It's Nndondeni Mudau.
On the then,
Yeah, so it's Nndondeni.
you're the one with the beard. That's a show.
So, but I write a lot of blogs. So I think writing blogs also gives you sort of like makes you want to stay relevant. So that you don't become complacent and just chill. So every time you notice, okay, sharp, what's the next big thing? I want to think, okay, sharp, maybe now there's EC, okay, sharp. How do I stay relevant? Just I start writing about EC or what? Then you start writing, okay, sharp, and start educating people, okay, sharp. There's no need for physical SIM card. How can we then migrate people from physical SIM card to like new electronic SIM card? I join like even forums let's say like, for example, 6G forums, 5G forums, just try to see, okay, sharp, what advancements can we do so that people can get better experiences. So you always like try to associate yourself with all these different forums or what, so that you can stay relevant. And the thing is also like the fact that you're a bit senior at work, there's people that you still need to also mentor and help, right? So they'll always come with questions. So you always have to try and put more effort into learning and understanding. Because sometimes it also gives pride, obviously, when you give people answers. So you try by almost to stay relevant in that aspect. But I think naturally, obviously, because I just like tech, so it's natural for me to just stay relevant with that as well. Yeah.
No, so I'm actually happy that you mentioned LinkedIn. I created a LinkedIn account years ago, and I didn't use LinkedIn for maybe 5-6 years. And coming back to see what it is now, where I'm even seeing comments from people saying, no, my last 3 jobs I got via LinkedIn.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to people, new graduates, on what should they do with their profiles? How should they get more engagement? Because I mean, everyone has been doing Facebook, everyone has been doing Twitter. We understand them, but what are the LinkedIn ways to actually get yourself an interview, get yourself a job, and get yourself noticed by recruiters?
Yeah, because I've actually got 2 of my jobs actually also from them via LinkedIn.
From LinkedIn?
Yeah, I got directly from LinkedIn. Like I said, because I write a lot of blogs, right? So when you write about stuff that you do and they feel like you're passionate about it, it's easy for them to even like hit you up. I remember, I won't mention the company, but one of the other CTO once even like literally sent me a DM and said, Sharp, we see we're passionate about this. Do you mind?
What's the CTO to know people that don't know?
Oh, a chief technical officer. So that's like a highest level ranking in terms of like engineering side.
Or technical. So there's a difference between a chief technical officer and a chief technology officer.
No, it's actually used interchangeably.
Oh, so it's just a semantic thing.
Yeah.
The other one is more technical. The other one
Like DJing player.
Yeah, but in most cases, right? So if you write, because in most cases, like if you check LinkedIn a lot, people that always write, especially about their job, you always see them like frequently, right? And then they get a lot of engagement. People from almost a similar thing. Like for example, you can just randomly write something like a question, maybe like, I remember, I think my last post I was talking about like how people are misconfusing IoT, right? And then you just repurposing IoT.
What is IoT?
Oh, Internet of Things.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so
Do you mind just quickly going into that?
Yeah.
What Internet of Things?
as quick. So
That's quick.
yeah. So basically, like IoT is just this new advancement, or like, okay, cool. Let's say, what's a typical example? Let's say cows, right? You want to track cows. Maybe you've got cows. Maybe you've got livestock. We do livestock farming.
Yeah.
So you can put in like a sensor in all your cows, so that you don't have to like, maybe in the rural areas, you don't have to just think, hey, maybe those cows are that side or that side. So you can just put in sensors. So already you can just check on the app where are your phones or where are your cows, and then you can just go and follow them.
This is maybe like this whole the fridges that sense when there's no milk.
Yeah,
And then,
and then
just
you place an order.
ordering it, because my printer does that. Well, it tries to, but I don't trust it enough to get to load my card. No, because it's gonna order ink, you know, and then take my petrol money. That's I take my no petrol. But it actually has that option where if the ink runs out, it can order from the. Well, I won't mention the manufacturer because I'm not happy with them. But yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
that's it.
basically that's more on the Internet of Things, like I said. So such things, I think they keep people engaged, or like, okay, cool, this guy is actually doing what he loves. So I think it's very, very chill for people, especially on LinkedIn, to always position themselves and try to at least give direction of what is it that we love. Because in most cases, I think you can always get someone to do anything, right?
Yeah.
But if people are doing something that they love, I think it's actually an extra bonus, or one, especially to the employee. Because if I'm doing something that I'm really passionate about, then like I've got like 90% or 99% focus on it. Or I'm not just doing it to get a paycheck. Obviously, that's an end goal. Obviously, doing it because I mean, we just don't want to work for free. But equally so, you also need to get compensated. But doing something that you really love, I think, is an added bonus. And a lot of people actually when this, because in most cases, bro, like I said, I always write blogs, write about things, and also positioning your LinkedIn in such a way that even recruiters find it easy for you to relate to, like, what is it that this guy's about, or what even that about pay thing on LinkedIn. I think it's also quite important to just write to, okay, sharp, I'm passionate about this, I do this, and I've got quite a wide network. I think about 15,000 connections or something like that. Well, LinkedIn, yeah, I've got a huge connection. I think you also have me on LinkedIn, is it?
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen my blogs.
People don't know who you are.
You.
Hola, XG.
So Ghost Bro.
Yeah.
We have a Ghost Bro. Ghost Bro.
Yeah.
And both of them are X. Yeah.
Yeah. So you touched on something very important that I feel. I want to hear your thoughts on it
Hey.
and how you approach it. Mentorship.
Ne?
What do you think of mentorship? You think it's valuable? Do you think everyone needs a mentor? And what you can take us through your journey of mentorship, being a mentor to people, how has that worked out in your life?
Ish, I try by all means to try to get a mentor, but yes, I can't keep up, bro. But I think
Wait, is it you that can't keep up, or the people can't keep up with
I
you?
can't keep up. Because the commitment of maybe to like follow someone and know that it's a bit different. But I think it's quite important to have someone that at least gives you a bit of sense of direction. Because, like for example, you'll never know what if you already hit the ceiling or not. If you don't have a mentor, right? So it's quite important to also just adore people that I look up to and people within my space that I also ask for advices and so forth. Because you might find, okay, sharp, maybe we'll create less salary, getting 300,000. You think, that's like the best salary in the whole world. But then if you have a mentor that tells you, no, bro, that's just exactly what.
That's my petrol money.
Exactly. They'll tell you, okay, maybe other people you need to within the field in the same rank. Maybe they're already aiming 600,000, or maybe they give you a sense of direction as well. Or okay, sharp, we think maybe you're lacking this type of traits, or maybe add more on. Maybe you don't talk a lot, or what you do a lot of stuff goes funny, but you don't even talk about it. You don't even know how to position yourself so that people can take you serious, or maybe you don't know how to position yourself so that people can see what you do, or what. Because there's people that are good at what they do, but they don't have the capabilities of being able to market themselves and make sure like people understand what is it that they do. Or so such things, I think you also need a bit of guidance now, or maybe you talk too much. So you might also need guidance or don't talk about those things. That's not the right place. You shouldn't say such things. So you always need a bit of guidance. So I think it's quite important for someone to really have someone at least, not really like mentor, you have to meet up with them every week or whatever. But every now and then you can just ask, what do you think I need to improve on? So obviously self-introspection you do, but at least you also need an external validation from someone to tell you, okay, sharp, maybe they say, you need to improve, got this, maybe you're not doing enough of this, or maybe you're doing too much of this.
Yeah, that's great. And I think you sort of touched on it in a way that sort of dispels a lot of what people think mentorship is. Because I think people think you go to a person and you sign some sort of like, and then say, you are my mentor. Let's sit down and have a meeting. But sometimes it means just being a role model, someone that you can look at from afar and say, or they don't have to be like your BFF or anything, like it's someone that you can approach to give you that external perspective, which obviously you can't get from yourself. Someone to role model what success looks like in your certain field, and someone to hold you accountable as well, to say, I can't disappoint this person. People are able to disappoint themselves, but when they think about disappointing the next person, it becomes a bit more difficult. So Nons, you touched on it a bit earlier, right? You said at different stages of your career, there's different competencies and skills that you need, right? The example that you gave was that you realized that you needed that business acumen and knowledge business for that. Can you touch on that a bit more and explain to our viewers what are the what are the skills that are needed at different levels within your specific career? Because I want all our guests to be able to let us know how it's like in their specific industries and jobs. What is it like both in the electrical, which is the side hustle, and then DJing, which is the full time?
All right. So, okay, let me give you an example, right? So when you started off, like I said, as an engineer, right? So literally like doing all this manual stuff, doing data collection and all this other stuff for engineers, right? So when you go up to the ladder, you need to start looking at the finance side of things, right? Because they give you budget. Now you're running a budget, right? You need to do like your return on investment analysis while buying certain things. So that part, unfortunately, it's a part that you never learn from engineering, right? You do learn it to an extent because obviously when you do project management and all those stuff. But I think it's actually totally different when you learn it, like we're actually learning finance. Or what? Because say for example, they give you a budget, a company, they say 500 million, right? You don't even know what is capex, what is opex. You don't even understand that label. So you get confused if you're just an engineer coming from ground level and you've never had to understand what is capex, what is opex. At that point in time, no one has ever told you. So that language altogether, it just totally, it's mind blowing if you've never learned the other side of what. Even let's say, for example, even I remember example like marketing, right? If you put in a particular product, right? So already because you learned from a business school or okay, sharp, you need to know how to do marketing, you need to know segmentation, you need to know like your product positioning and all those sort of stuff, right? So before I did MBA, I never used to understand. I was just doing things for the fun part of it. Because I think most engineers, they've been driven by just doing innovation and all sorts of stuff. They don't really think of like, how's this really going to benefit the end user? What? Not really like everyone thinks like that, but I'm just saying like it's all about numbers, it's all about the physics part of it. Whether it really does enhance people, I think in most cases, like you tend to learn it at a later stage, right? So back to my full-time job on the DJing side, or like, so the business side of things, and I think you tend to like also get to learn how to do your positioning of yourself as a brand, because before you get to learn like how to position yourself, what to target and what not to target. Before, if you've never really went to like a business school or have some sort of understanding on how to run a business, even from the DJ side, you will really suffer because you try to do almost everything. But then when you went to business school, you start understanding, okay, sharp, I'm this type of an artist, right? I'm not trying to be a popular artist. I'm trying to be an artist who's going to make money, right? That's the first positioning that you're going to position yourself as, right? Now you start positioning yourself to say, okay, cool. Instead of me trying to be popular and playing at all these big venues, why don't I position myself to be a corporate type of DJ? Or what? So now you make a lot of money from doing NDA functions, right? You're doing maybe kickoff functions from companies, right? It's something that a lot of other people don't really think of, right? Because everyone say DJ, first thing, sharp. I don't know, taboo, like when you cafe or what? And only to find out maybe there isn't even a lot of money in that space. Or what? But
it just looks like.
It just looks like, or what?
You're on the fly.
But you're on the fly, or what? But then, think about it, you start thinking, okay, sharp, India function, what company it's on, right? You go there, and then they booked a DJ who's playing on the day, right? And they pay like a full rates. Corporate rates. Okay, sharp. That guy comes there, Ajala, 2 hours, 3 hours, he comes with sound and do all sorts of stuff. In most cases, I'm quite sure like a lot of times when you check NDA functions, study company, they don't even bring a headliner DJ. They just bring someone, this guy's a DJ. What? And then we check
the IT guy.
The IT guy knows DJing with Allah.
What? And when you check the invoice of the person, actually is killing it. They're killing it more than even people that are very popular and all sorts of stuff.
And there is no pressure to edit.
Exactly. The only
you get to make whatever you want.
Exactly.
So you know on the spot share.
How many days no?
But then the network. But then
On the
thing-
network.
and also remember the network you also get it from business school.
Ah, yes.
I mean,
Okay.
a random example. Remember we went to Botswana, right? Hopefully it did say Paul to me. We went to Botswana.
Yeah, it was.
So remember I was playing Botswana,
Yes.
right? I got booked by a mate from business school. So those are some of the other things that you get to learn through networking to say, okay, cool. I can get to also play within other spaces.
Yeah.
I was doing, what was it, any functional marathon or something like that, DJ that thing. But it's something that you can never think of
Yeah.
as a DJ, because the only thing people just think, DJ, you know,
Yeah.
DJ, you know, oh, what taboo, DJ, you know, that's, so you also get to learn from the other side, okay, cool, position yourself in this market, right? And also, another thing that I was saying about, like, also in terms of the way that you position yourself, right? I know, okay, sharp, I won't play for this sport.
Okay, so it's also being selective about
Yeah,
where your brand fits in.
exactly.
Okay.
Like, I wouldn't go and play go a nightclub, because, like,
Nightclub.
yeah, I'm a deep house DJ. So you have to think. So it also gives you that thing to think, yeah, man.
Yes.
Or like already, because you find out like there's a guy who's playing deep house, man. He plays soulful house, but you know what? I go to Pokon. Oh, guy. You're a DJ, okay, sure, I get, but what are you trying to achieve? Or what? So it also gives you that sort of level of thinking to say, okay, sure, you know how to position yourself, or what. And what to, and also you also think of other things of like upselling and cross-selling, ne?
As a teacher.
Hey, the NBA is clean right now. It's saying all the things.
By upselling,
Yeah.
so
Wait,
it's,
it's not an MBA.
Yeah.
okay. For example,
Hey,
But
my
he's
guy.
thinking about going to business school his entire
I
time.
said business school, but business school doesn't mean MBA. No.
obviously.
Yeah, alright. But tell me though, and I don't want you to be humble. What are your biggest wins in your and is that
Side
in
hustle?
2 careers in your side hustle,
Yeah.
which is electrical engineering,
Yes.
and then your
For a big listed company, by the way. And yeah.
okay, and then for your DJing and your electrical engineering, what are your biggest wins where you went home and you're like killing the game, like I'm done?
I think
And don't be humble.
Yeah,
This
please.
is your chance to just,
no. Okay, let me think. I think for me, the biggest achievement that I think up to date, especially in my professional career, right? Side hustle, right? I think being the deputy lead for 5G for 21 countries. I think that's like the biggest win that I've had. And now, like, I got promoted to the lead, 5G. So everything that you see from
So
setting.
you're the one that created COVID.
Yeah, you know what? No, 5G,
So being the lead, especially like supporting like other countries,
Yeah.
like 21 countries.
Yeah.
I think that's big because
That's huge.
Lovely.
yeah, because then at least you get to set the pace, you get to set like certain standards on how to calculate certain things. So in that aspect, I think for me to date, that's literally the biggest one. But then on the DJing side,
Yeah.
man, I don't know, bro.
You haven't graduated from many more. Many more. And you still have a small name with a poster. And then it's
But like I said, now for me, on the DJing side, right,
Yeah.
I position myself. I don't really care whether I'm on a lineup or
Yeah.
many more.
Yeah.
But I've never seen my a poster which came by and I was many more.
Okay.
Fortunately, now.
whenever you are playing,
My name is
even if it's like, it's there somewhere.
But I think on the DJing side, I think the biggest thing was like playing in the UK, DJing in the UK. That was like the biggest.
You're an international DJ, my man.
Why did you not say? Why did you not say? We were feeding you hot wings now. We could have done better.
Nat,
We could have-
this is international
we could have
esteemed guest.
done better.
I think DJ for UK. Yeah, I think for me that was like one of the biggest highlights, right? I may say a lot of places.
Yeah.
I think almost I think I've played almost everywhere where I wanted to play in SA, to be honest.
You've achieved everything.
South Africa.
You can retire now.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, I got like, in most cases in SA, you look at yourself, you're like, okay, sharp, I want to play here and here and here,
Yeah.
right? And then you give yourself time.
Yeah.
So I think, in terms of places,
Yeah.
I don't think there's a place where I'll say I have been
The one.
maybe one platform, maybe one or two, but
Yeah.
I think almost everywhere I played, where they know what to play at.
And I think, yeah, we've done the bragging. And you did it well.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
Let us, like,
Let's think back to where you've made some mistakes. And you feel like either they could have been avoided, or you can tell someone now, you know, if you do this, you can avoid the mistake that I made. And or the biggest lesson that came from, you know, something that didn't turn out the way you had initially wanted it to.
I'll say, in terms of mistake, I think,
I don't make mistakes.
just lessons.
That was you, no else.
I think from an early stage of my career, I think what I
Or what you wish you knew.
yeah,
Yeah.
what I wish I knew
Yeah.
was that they were like, especially like on, I think people shouldn't make stupid decisions like when they start making money, especially from the finance side. I think people should invest a lot in terms of what they want to achieve, right? I'll give you an example. I only started by owning my own equipment maybe like what, 3 or 4 years back, of which I strongly believe I should have bought the equipment way before. I think that part, because it generates a lot of passive income or what, and also I think I should have learned how to play piano. As a producer, I think that's something
Are you thinking like you actually had opportunities and you were like, oh,
You're like,
I'm real music.
I should have learned how to play, yeah. I want a piano. I think I should have learned how to like even to produce.
Yeah.
And you look like Central. I've been saying. Like,
I think that's something that I think I should have jumped on the bandwagon when we started. Because in that aspect, I think could have elevated. At this point in time, it's really pointless once you just stick into the lane now.
So the lesson there is don't need to
No,
in your own lane.
yeah, like
Explore other lanes.
I think something like I was saying earlier on, like don't be misled by trying to please your fellow people. It doesn't work. Do what works and what
the people want.
Exactly.
Give the people what they
Give
want.
people what they want.
That's an important.
Because the thing is, in most cases, bro, like you're gonna be there sitting shallow, like you're not getting bookings because say, no, now I'm a tip house head.
Yeah.
No, now I'm this. Sometimes you have to evolve and be something which people can relate, or at least just try to. Because I mean, let's say for example, a random example like maybe Lekov, right? You see when he plays SA, he plays like Afro Tech, but when he plays for Ibiza, if you see this video, he's like almost playing electro. What that type of functionality of being able to at least translate from one place to the other thing, it's also quite important. In SA, like I said, SA right now, bro, like there's no way you're gonna make a killing if you're not making on VR. Let's be honest. Because we see people streams, bro. Like this other day I was showing me his streams. I'm like, fuck, this guy's coining it, bro.
and they say that, no, because you're treating people when you have a paycheck and it's you're there like, it's not real music. It's not real music.
And
People
he's
are
starving. He's starving.
People are starving out there. No.
And also I think for a lot of people, I think if when they're starting off their careers, I think one of the biggest mistakes that they always do, this is what I've seen, go to like, you're starting off your music career, and then you feel like being a good beat maker or whatever, it's gonna set you up. Sometimes you need to like have a niche and see how can you then also associate with the right people so that they can elevate you or because it's one thing having talent, and one thing that I've noticed in the music scene, talent is not enough.
It's not.
And bro, like I think talent is like maybe 10% of the thing.
Yo.
The rest of the other stuff,
90 is what?
it's marketing, branding, positioning yourself,
Network.
the correct association.
Yeah.
And that's why like
All the NBA stuff.
because the thing is, you can, like I said, you know, there's so many people that are out there that are big, but they don't even have talent. They just, you can buy talent with them.
I guess we're not mentioning names. That's
That's why we didn't know.
I know we've learned now. We've learned.
Only success, mention name.
Yeah,
I don't want to keep it clean.
And that's why there's always this thing where every now and then you find people complaining. No, Mang Robile. This used to be my song, so and so took it.
Because they have the talent and not the 90%.
Exactly. Because you've got the talent. Because we can sit down,
Yeah.
make music. But then, because you're not connected to the right people, you don't have the right thing, you don't have the correct image and so on and so forth. What happens is that's why you find people when they blow up, you find they're consistently having so many songs that are good.
Yeah.
Like, how come this guy's coming with so many songs? That songs they've made those songs some time ago. But then the thing is because they didn't have the platform. Or what? So that's one of the other things. And that's why I always say, like, if you go into the music side with the talent only and you don't have breaking financials and all that, hey, it can be screwed big time. I mean, other people will find out, like, maybe you've been producing songs for the past 3 years, 4 years. You've never even sold 10 rights. Someone comes to I'm buying this song from you, I rename it from Lesego to Nndondeni, got 500 friends. You're gonna take it, unfortunately. But when the song blows up, you're gonna start complaining, but you've never sold anything.
No, that's true. Okay. No, I think now as we are closing, this one I really want to answer that one. It seems like your feet are very firmly put in these two that you've chosen. But if you weren't doing, just indulge us for a second, if you weren't doing what you're doing, if you weren't DJing, and if you weren't an electronic engineer in telecom, in telecom, what would you be doing?
I don't know, bro.
Think about it. Think about it. What else would you possibly be doing? And you want to produce, of course. Yes, man, does. And you went to fan.
And you were.
They didn't even go into the fan thing. Didn't it? The fan.
Oh.
What would you be doing?
I think I would do farming, bro.
Farming?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I would do farming.
How did you learn
I used
this?
to farm, bro.
Okay.
In the days of
Okay.
Oh.
I think that's the only thing I think I can try.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't have talent, bro. Like,
Self-awareness.
No. This guy's lazy.
No.
This guy said he's lazy.
Yeah.
Now he's saying he doesn't have talent.
He's lazy, but he has 3 careers.
But he's lazy.
He has no talent, but he's a producer.
He's a producer. Yeah, he's a DJ. My man.
but I don't know.
It's the way you are a farmer.
No, I think farming, bro. I think it's something which is really nice. Because I remember I used to like try and farm, especially chili, bro.
Oh, chili.
Yeah, chili farming.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
I think I learned a lot there. Now I've started trying to like do. I've got a couple of pigs here at home.
Oh, you already diving into the thing.
Yeah, a lot.
But you're gonna add a 4th career. What are you gonna answer? What do you ask the question again? What
You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to explore. I said, okay, I think there's a problem in Asia. I don't think we've got enough marketing in this thing. Ham. Yeah. So I said so I started watching these YouTube videos on like how to make ham and all that. So now,
Dad.
so now I bought a couple of pigs from this other mate of mine. Okay. So then I started like exploring. So now I'm still exploring because I grew them. So at least now it's a couple of that, and then I'll start seeing like what to do. But yeah, farming is also nice.
Okay. Interesting.
And he's a family man. On top of that,
We didn't even get into
we didn't even get into it. Sorry, kids.
We've got so much more to explore.
Yeah.
We've got a lot more that those could share with us, and I think we'll leave it for the next episode.
Definitely.
I think, for now, that's all the time we have for you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for sharing your story, dancing and indulging us.
Much appreciated.
Yeah, we appreciate all our viewers for tuning into our show, and look forward to see you on the next one. Thanks.
Man to life. Chill at the king. Chill at the king. And they mustn't leave out like these moments.